Today at noon, a longtime controversial research center at OHSU is the center of a heated meeting this afternoon where the future of the hospital's Primate research lab stands. Plus, graduation rates in the Estacada School District have skyrocketed, while leaders aren't crediting a budget increase to student success. Also ahead, a Western Washington University alum won Team USA its first gold medal at the Winter Olympics. The reason why it's not hanging around her neck. Thanks so much for joining us here at noon. I'm Stephanie Domerat. Happening right now, OHSU leaders are debating on whether or not to end experiments on monkeys at the hospital's Primate research lab. The center has been a controversial one for years, with animal activists arguing the facility should close. Thomas Schultz has more.
The OHSU Board of Directors says it's looking into transitioning a research center into a primate sanctuary. In a letter, OHSU leaders said earlier this month the hospital has long been committed to science advancing human health, adding the Primate Center has contributed to the mission for decades. Though now, OHSU says science has evolved, and state and federal leaders, along with leaders at the National Institute for Health, are urging human-based research. OHSU says any decision would take into account protecting employees' careers and animal care. In a public meeting last month, supporters of the facility highlighted medical advancement it achieved. Those against it described the center as inhumane, outdated, and financially unsustainable.
If it's not state general fund money, then it must be coming from patients through higher charges or students through higher tuition.
Shutting down the center would not just deprive the United States of healthcare advances. It would not just deprive Oregon of a highly skilled workforce. It would also take millions out of the local economy, and it would cost our taxpayers millions to do it.
Animal rights groups like PETA have long opposed the center. In a statement, PETA's senior science advisor on primate issues, Dr. Lisa Jones-Engel, said in part, phasing out the Primate Research Center and making it a sanctuary would put the university at the forefront of cutting-edge research by casting off what has failed and embracing state-of-the-art science. So clearly a lot to be discussed here at OHSU and possibly a lot of changes coming for the university. Thomas Schultz, KGW News.
And we will be following that update throughout the day and have that for you today at 4 as well. Well, the Estacada School District has seen a huge spike in graduation rates over the past 10 years, from 38 to 92% of kids graduating in 4 years. The superintendent says there are a couple of reasons for these increases, and it wasn't because of money. He says 7 years ago, the district worked with each student to establish personal goals, and it found by giving each student something to strive for, it made a big difference. Estacada also built in 2 hours every week for teachers to meet with each other and create assessments for their students.
Teachers were able to identify what students needed who weren't learning on time, and identify what students need who were learning it, and how are we going to push that learning forward.
Carpenter believes other districts could replicate the success Estacada has seen. They also realized kids involved in extracurriculars performed better in school, so they make an effort to get every middle and high schooler involved in something, whether it's a sport, performing art, or career technical program, to keep them engaged and involved in school. A Gresham 7-year-old and her family are back in Oregon after spending 3 weeks locked up in an ICE detention center in Texas. KGW was there as the family arrived home early Saturday morning. They were escorted by Oregon Congresswoman Maxine Dexter. Dexter had flown to Texas to check in on the family, but was denied access to the detention center. A statement from DHS offered an explanation for the detention, saying, quote, "These parents illegally entered the U.S. with their daughter in 2024 through the disastrous CBP-1 app and were released into the country by the Biden administration."
Waited in Mexico for their appointment. They came through the San Isidro portal legally, and it's not their fault that they were given an appointment until 2028.
We have to come together with love and not dehumanize and marginalize the people who are doing this. We have to fight hate with love.
We've contacted ICE for an updated response multiple times, but have yet to hear back. Salem police are investigating an incident that happened outside a downtown bar that involved a gun. It happened around 1:30 Saturday morning at Mikey's Bar and Grill on Liberty Street. Police say a 20-year-old man dropped a handgun and tried to run as officers arrived. According to investigators, the man had threatened security and customers and was found with suspected cocaine. Police also say a car connected to the incident took off and later crashed nearby. The driver and passenger were treated for minor injuries. Officers later recovered a second gun. The two men were arrested and booked into jail on multiple charges, including unlawful use of a weapon, DUI, and attempting to elude police. A man is behind bars for an armed robbery that put a woman in the hospital. Police say Jorge Reyes Suarez hit a woman in the head with a handgun and stole her fanny pack while she was returning her cart in the parking lot of Southeast Salem Costco on Friday. Reyes Suarez drove away and 2 Salem schools were put on lockdown after police found his car nearby. Police found him and the gun, which ended up being a realistic-looking pellet gun. All right, switching gears now to your weather. Let's check in with Rod Hill. Hi, Rod.
Hi. We have a typical day.
It feels really different than we've seen the last week, though.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we haven't been typical.
Yeah, it's true, right?
So however you feel today, that's typical. Scattered shower pattern. Please note with me, everything's coming in from the west. And not a lot of total rain. There are some exceptions. We've seen some heavier showers mixed in, but most of these are more gentle showers that are quickly coming and moving out. Here's some rain from our live camera at Snoqualmie Casino Resort in Lincoln City, 53 degrees. Winds are generally light. That's a close-up look at our state capital, 52 degrees. There are some sun breaks, but our sky cameras are showing more clouds than sun at this hour. And there's downtown, pretty much overcast from this view, 51 degrees. I don't think temperatures are going to budge much. We're going to be getting rain showers coming across. So about the time we start to warm up, the temperature will be rain cooled. This shows us in the low 50s all the way through 4 o'clock and then mid 40s down to 46 at 7. The shower chance, by the way, will be ending tonight. And then we go on a dry run. Now, one more thing, we do have snow up in the mountains, and we'll talk about how much has fallen, what that snow level, where it is. That's coming up in my complete forecast.
All right, Rod, we'll see you then. Thank you. Well, coming up, imagine watching the 2026 Olympics knowing exactly what it's like to compete in Cortina. We'll introduce you to one Olympian who was there in 1956. Plus, the Lombardi on its way to Seattle. How the Seahawks secure the Super Bowl 60 win and their second World Championship title in franchise history. We'll be right back.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
Welcome back. It is rare to watch the 2026 Winter Olympics knowing what it's like to actually compete there, unless you're Marvin Melville, who skied in the 1956 Games. Deanie Wimmer has his memories that show how far the Games have come over the last 70 years.
walking in with the rest of the team in the parade.
1956, the Cortina opening ceremony. He remembers the crowd,
Which was probably 5,000 or 6,000 people.
the closeness,
All of the athletes were in one place, all the different venues.
and especially the emotions.
What is it like to be there when you hear the anthem and to know you're representing your country?
Well, it makes me cry. It's really a moving experience.
70 years later, Marv, as he's known, also remembers the terrible conditions. The snow wasn't groomed, and you can see the bumps and pine needles on the track.
So I started the downhill, got about halfway down and hit a bump and exploded and broke my skis and pulled the bindings out, walked the rest of the way down.
In fact, in his alpine race, around 80 skiers started, 20 finished. They ran out of sleds to transport the injured.
It's the only Olympics I'd ever heard of or any other World Cup race where so few finished. Nowadays they have technical people that decide. I would think after half a dozen of these folks crashed, they would stop the race, but nowadays they would. No, back then they didn't.
He started skiing as a young boy at Alta.
You didn't really like it that much.
No, I didn't like it at all. You have to, it was cold and most people didn't even have a parka.
But that changed over the decades, and by age 90, Marv was still skiing, though with much better gear.
I can't even imagine how much it's changed. with equipment, clothing is so much warmer and lighter.
This is the Team USA uniform he wore 70 years ago in Cortina, and it looks a lot like this year's uniform.
He'll watch this year's Olympics in Cortina with a rare understanding and appreciation for the athletes who will follow him.
Yeah, it brings back a lot of emotion. It's a real privilege to represent, like you said, represent the country and be one of a few that get to do that.
That was Deanie Wimmer reporting for us there. Well, Breezy Johnson won Team USA's first gold medal of the 2026 Winter Olympics, and it's already broken. Johnson secured not only her spot in history, but also the first medal for the U.S. at the Games in the women's downhill skiing event. It's the same event marred by the teammate Lindsey Vohn's crash and trip to a hospital. Her long-awaited medal didn't hold up well as the clasp holding the ribbon to the medal broke. Speaking at a news conference, Johnson revealed she was jumping up and down in celebration when it happened, adding that the medal is heavier than she expected.
Did I see correctly? You broke the medal?
Yeah. Don't jump in them. I was jumping in excitement and it broke. I'm sure somebody will fix it. It's not like crazy broken, but it's a little broken.
Well, gold medals were made of solid gold until 1912. Silver medals are primarily made of sterling silver, and bronze medals, since the latest Olympics in Paris, are made of pure copper.
It's awful to be that close after a lot of years of ups and downs, coming back from injuries. I feel like I gave it my all.
Well, Canby High School graduate Jackie Wiles laying it all on the field during the women's downhill yesterday. She ended up finishing in fourth, less than 0.3 of a second behind the third place finisher. Though she didn't medal, it was still a career best Olympic finish. And taking a look now at this morning's medal count, right now the U.S. is in 7th place with 2 medals behind Italy, who leads with 9. Norway with 6. Japan now has 5. Switzerland and Austria are tied in 4th with 4 medals each. All right, let's check in with Rod with your weather.
Well, coming up, we are going to get to the mountain snow, but first, this is how much rain fell the last couple of days. Portland over 1.4 of an inch, so we did pretty well. Vancouver actually over 1.5 inches. Okay, mountain snow and word of a colder weather pattern coming up in your 7-day.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. alert days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
I want to party. I want to celebrate with my guys. You know, I want to cry. I have so many emotions, you know, running through me right now, and they're all amazing.
A sentiment shared by 12s everywhere. Fans erupting into celebration after the Seahawks captured their second Super Bowl title in franchise history. And it was a chance to avenge, really, the heartbreaking loss to the New England Patriots back in 2015. This time, the Hawks defense controlled most of the game and ensured that Super Bowl victory. The dark side lived up to expectations, keeping opposing quarterback Drake May on his heels and literally on his back. The Seahawks defense had 6 sacks in the game and kept the Patriots scoreless until the fourth quarter, which put the team very close to a Super Bowl record.
I think we did a tremendous job today. We were honestly mad that they scored it all. We were trying to get a shutout in the Super Bowl, make history, and put a stamp on that dark side defense that we've had this year.
Well, there was one record, though, set by a Seahawk. Jason Myers recorded 5 field goals. And coming up on KGW at 1 o'clock, you can watch the Seahawks touchdown in Seattle after their big win. Yeah, it was a wild game to watch. I mean, that defense, man. It's weird for me to talk football, by the way, but even I have something to say.
So you watched the game?
I did, yeah.
All right, okay. You know, I thought the game was great. I thought the halftime was really fun, too. I like the fact it was like this Puerto Rican kind of village. They had the actual wedding going on.
Yeah, that was so cool. It was
that
a real
was crazy.
Wedding. That was fun.
That's what we call an event wedding, you know. Here's a look at our.
They went all out.
Yeah, our Timberline camera. All right, we've got the lift going. We have new snow. We have snowflakes falling at noon. Kind of a dark, ominous looking sky there, but the snow rate's pretty light out there currently. 28 degrees, so it's freezing. That's terrific news. And traveling is okay. We had some snow-covered roads earlier this morning. That's 33, Highway 26 fine. There's 30, Santiam fine. And notice it's wet. These roads will develop icy spots later today or this evening when the sun starts going down. So FYI on that, 37 degrees at Willamette Pass. And this is what has fallen. So Timberline saying, hey, we have 14 inches of new snow. Meadows saying, hey, we have half of that. Ski Bowl 4, Bachelor saying, hey, we have 11 inches of new snow. So that is terrific news and much needed. And you know what? There should be some more snowmakers coming. So I did some Outlook work over the weekend, and then I wanted to see what NOAA was showing. And NOAA basically agrees with everything that I saw, or I agree with what they saw, however you want to spin that. But notice the blue. That's below normal temperature projections for the entire West Coast, starting this coming Friday, the 13th, through the 17th. And then this bottom map just extends that pattern of below normal temperatures for the West all the way through the 21st. And you could make the argument that we could be in a normal to below normal temperature pattern all the way through the first week of March. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that instead of having all these rainy systems over the Cascades, the majority of fronts coming, starting with the one this Friday, will at least bring snow to Cascade Pass level, and it's sometimes below that as well. We could see snow levels over the weekend dip below 2,000 feet at times, for example. So this is good news. I'm not promising you a huge turnaround of the snowpack, but I am saying we're getting back to a more normal pattern that will deliver much needed snow. Here's that scattered shower pattern we talked about earlier in the show, just feeding in from west to east. I showed you Lincoln City. It was really ominous. Remember that camera? Well, it depends on where you are. This is a sunbreak scattered shower pattern that will fluctuate. So in Seaside, you can't tell there's a cloud anywhere. Look at that. That's beautifully blue. Looks like at the bottom of your screen we have some surfers picking up right there as well. 48 degrees is the current number. And there's some partly cloudy skies, an ice break over the valley. That's Willamette Valley Vineyards, just south of Salem. And there are the clouds currently over the Columbia from the Vancouver, the Springs at the waterfront camera. We're 50 Kelso, about the same. Portland, Salem, Eugene, 52, 52. Bend is up to 45. And we're 40 or better out in eastern Oregon at this hour as well. So winds are mainly light. They are westerly through the gorge. Temperature is going to hold fairly steady in the low 50s, coast and valley, for the remainder of today. And then we're all dry later tonight, all dry Tuesday, all dry Wednesday, all dry Thursday. Cold front comes in Friday, and there's your cooler Valentine's Day with a high maybe of only 45. And by the way, this weekend looks pretty wet, both days as well. And maybe, maybe we see a bit of a wintry mix going into Sunday morning. Back to you.
First snowflake we've seen there. Okay, on the valleys at least. Thanks so much, Rod. Well, coming up, Ghislaine Maxwell pleading the fifth to lawmakers today. Why both Democrats and Republicans say it is stopping justice for victims.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW+. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW+. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Lawmakers returned to Washington today with just days to find a funding solution on the Department of Homeland Security or see the agency shut down. Democrats are demanding reforms to federal immigration enforcement. Reed Binion reports. We're going to try to get that story for you here in a minute, but let's get a look at your national headlines this afternoon. In a reported ransom demand for her safe return, the alleged kidnapper or kidnappers of Nancy Guthrie had demanded $6 million. The note reportedly threatened Guthrie's life if a 5 p.m. deadline was not met later today. There are still no suspects in that case. Jeffrey Epstein co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell pled the fifth in a virtual deposition this morning. The House Oversight Committee subpoenaed Maxwell to testify about her and Epstein's crimes. According to the committee chair, she invoked her Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination. Republicans and Democrats on the committee say by refusing to answer questions, Maxwell is holding back justice for the young women and girls that Epstein abused. Lyft is rolling out a new ride-sharing option for teenagers. The company says Lyft Teen will provide a safe and affordable way for parents to get their kids from point A to point B. Lyft said only drivers who meet the highest standards with background checks and positive feedback history will be allowed to transport teens. The new service launched Monday in more than 200 locations across the U.S. And let's try to get that story for you of lawmakers now returning to Washington with just days to find a funding solution over the Department of Homeland Security. Here's Reed Binion.
The ball is in the court right now of the Republicans.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries ahead of a crucial deadline for funding the Department of Homeland Security, saying Democrats are standing firm by their demands.
Dramatically reform the way in which ICE and other immigration enforcement agencies are conducting themselves.
Jeffries saying if that doesn't happen, a DHS shutdown would be the fault of Republicans.
They're making the explicit decision to shut down the Coast Guard, shut down FEMA, and shut down TSA.
Lawmakers have just days to find a DHS funding solution or see the agency shut down. The deadline is Friday. Democrats' list of requirements for a bill to fund DHS and reform ICE include requiring immigration enforcement agents to wear body cameras and remove face masks, among other conditions. Certain Republican lawmakers have indicated openness to some of those demands.
When I was mayor of Miami-Dade County, we put body cameras on all Miami-Dade County police. Putting what agency you're from, I have no problem with that.
But other demands are seeing more pushback from Republicans.
A lot of times those face masks are there to protect the ICE agent themselves.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW+. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW+. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
All right, maybe some little bit of snow chances at the end of the week.
Yeah, well, certainly for the mountains, and depending on wind flow and a bunch of other things, maybe at night and during the morning.
Okay.
We could see a wintry mix in the air. That's more of a sign that the overall weather pattern is getting colder than anything. We've got 52 today, scattered showers, dry the next several days. Stephanie's talking about Sunday with a low near freezing in the morning. Could be moisture in the air. Daytime high of 44.
All right, Rod, thank you. And thanks for joining us here on KGW Plus. We'll see you back here at 4 o'clock. Have a good day.